Hello, in this video I want to use solubility curves to help us figure out the degree of saturation. I have three situations here. All of them involve the temperature of 9 degrees Celsius. Now, if each of these were solutions, I want to know which one is unsaturated, which one's saturated, and which one might be oversaturated. In order to do that, we have to actually look at where 9 degrees is on our solubility curve. So 9 degrees is right about here. We then need to look at how much solute we're putting into this solution. So if we start with 200 grams, 200 grams is here. So we look at where 200 grams meets 90 grams. And they actually meet right on the solubility curve. So if it meets at the solubility curve, this solution is saturated. That's because all 200 grams has been dissolved completely and the maximum amount of dissolvable solute has been reached. So this solution has to be saturated. No more solute can dissolve. In this solution. So if we look at the next one again involves 9 degrees Celsius, but this time we only have 100 grams. So 100 grams is right here. So if we're looking at 100 grams and where 90 degrees Celsius meet, the point is below the solubility curve. If you have a point below the curve, that solution is unsaturated. Meaning I can still dissolve more. Now, in our case, the amount that we can still dissolve is the difference between the 2 points. So here we have 200. So 200 grams minus 100 grams equals 100 grams. So we can still dissolve 100 grams more until we get a saturated solution. So obviously the last one that we look at, 300 grams, we look for 300 grams on our curve. We look at where 390 degrees meet, and that point sits above the curve. So if it sits above the curve, this substance, this solution is oversaturated. Meaning that there is precipitate left over, undissolved. If we wanted to find out how much precipitate is undissolved, we have to look at the difference between those two sets of numbers there. So in this case, it's 300 grams minus 200 grams, which gives us 100 grams undissolved. So in this scenario, we have a oversaturated solution with at least 100 grams of precipitate left over. Now, if you're looking at this very carefully, solubility curves can only tell us whether a solution is saturated, unsaturated, or oversaturated. It cannot tell us whether a solution is supersaturated. cannot tell us if a solution is supersaturated. Okay? Because after all it really is a point on the graph. Okay? The point on the graph doesn't tell you whether the excess solute is dissolved or not. And if it can't tell you that, it can't tell you whether it's a supersaturated solution or not. Okay? So the only three levels of saturation that we can determine from a solubility curve are saturated, unsaturated, or oversaturated.